Hello everyone, my name is Hemingway Jones. Welcome to the channel. This is our little corner of the internet where we discuss fountain pens, inks, journals and journaling, and pretty much anything that's going to inspire you to begin writing. I'm coming to you today from my library, as I often do, and today I'd like to talk about something that's kind of fun. I like to breezily go through it piece by piece, and it is of course something that I'm always adding to and subtracting from. As the TikTok pen guy, I see quite a few pens. I've received quite a few new ones recently, and I'd like to share them with you now. So let's go through the state of the collection. So before we dive in, I want to thank you for spending part of your week with me. I appreciate each and every one of you, and it's really been exciting watching this channel grow. Each week we're adding more and more new and interesting people, having awesome discussions in the comment section. It's very open there, and I love getting different opinions, especially those that don't necessarily agree with what I say. This is how we all learn, and I feel like I am learning all the time. Fountain pens and writing and journaling is a really interesting hobby. There's so much to learn, and no one knows everything. So thank you for taking this journey with me. Our first pen today is the Montblanc 22 with this beautiful, partially hooded nib. It's also inlaid. It's really interesting. It has a great flex to it and a fantastic ink reservoir view window. This is one of my favorite journaling pens. It's also piston filled, which is awesome. Great pen. Second is the Montblanc 264, which is an incredibly soft, flexible medium nib, a gorgeous ink reservoir window, and another piston filled. Just a fantastic vintage Montblanc that you can get for a pretty affordable price. Gorgeous. Next up, we have the Montblanc 252 in a left oblique. It's my only oblique pen, and this gives a really interesting line. It's very similar to the other two pens. It has that gorgeous gold nib, one of my favorites. Now, we're talking about classic. Here is the mighty Montblanc 149, quite large pen, but also really comfortable and incredibly gorgeous two-tone gold nib. There's a little ink in there. Whoopsie. Pretty amazing. I love this pen. It's one of my favorites. We've been through a lot of adventures together. Next up is perhaps the most interesting pen in my collection, the Montblanc Egyptomania with this amazing Egyptian scarab nib. Look at that, just beautiful, and just an incredible piston filled pen made in a vintage like manner with a very soft expressive nib. Just an amazing pen. Look at the brass top with the Montblanc Glacier and the scarab on the clip. Isn't that something? Just an amazing pen with so many cool details. Consequently, I saw this online and I had to pick it up. I got this from a store in Edinburgh. I saw it online, just had to have it. It's from the same time period that the Egyptomania seeks to celebrate. And it's just an amazing little inkwell. So what do you think, guys? Should I fill it? I feel like I probably should. Next up is Pinnader's incredible La Grande Bellezza, the Full Metal jacket in army red with that beautiful quill nib. Look at that, guys. Isn't that something? This is one of my favorite pens. You may have seen my recent video on it. Just an intriguing, interesting pen with a lot of character. This is a very interesting pen. It comes to us from Cartier. It has some beautiful marks like this nib that has the Cartier symbol on it. You can see it right there. Just gorgeous. We have the C on the clip there. This ruby cabochon. This Chinese lacquer finish is just gorgeous and amazing. It's quite a heavy pen. I have used it quite a bit. It's one of my favorite journaling pens. It has an amazing nib, and it's a lot of fun to take on trips. It just seemed to really fit in on the Grand Canal in Venice when I stayed in San Cassiano, one of my favorite palazzos. Just an amazing pen, so much fun to write with. Next up, the Pilot 823 with the incredible vac fill mechanism and another just gorgeous nib. Look at that, guys. Isn't that amazing? As you know, this pen is nearly perfect. It has sepia ink in it right now. Maybe I would change. I wish it had a metal protector on the edge of the cap, but I mean, that clip, just everything is so brilliant about this pen. Next up is this gorgeous Pelikan M600 Sovereign in red tortoise. Look at the depth in that pen. Beautiful piston filled, an incredible gold nib. Pelikan nibs are maybe the most beautiful. I don't know. Kind of looks like a G clef on there. Just a gorgeous pen, so much fun to write with. Truth be told, I don't use it enough. I need to ink this up and use it presently. The Sailor 1911 with that amazing 21 karat gold nib with the anchor on it. Who doesn't love a Sailor pen? Just a great pen, great writer. Truth be told, I don't use it much. If I were to thin the herd, this is probably one I'd be willing to let go. It's a bit redundant with the Pilot 823, just because they're both like really high precision writers. But still, I'll probably never part with it. It's lovely, and it's mine, and I do enjoy it. The Conklin Durograph, so much value for $45, an amazing stub nib. Love this pen. Its cousin, the Conklin All-American. Quite a bold pen, very girthy, another incredible stub nib. I also have the medium nib to go with it. So I get a lot of variety out of this wonderful pen. Next up, a favorite on this channel, the TWSBI VAC 700R in iris with that absolutely gorgeous cursive, smooth, italic nib. Just an amazing pen. Next up, a TWSBI Eco, freshly clean, very lovely. It is hungry for ink, so I'll have to put some in it soon. This is the Diamond 580. This started my love affair with TWSBI, an amazing pen. The TWSBI Eco in smoke and rose gold with a stub nib. A gorgeous one at that. Look at that. You can see the shimmer in the ink I'm using. I always put shimmer inks in TWSBIs because they're so easy to strip and to clean. You don't have to worry about clogging. Here we have an Esterbrook SD in honeycomb. One of my most beautiful pens. Absolutely amazing nib and a fantastic writing pen. This is one of my favorite pens to journal with. We're going to leave that there because we have its friend, the Esterbrook SD in tortoise. And this one has an amazing stub nib. It's not quite as pretty, but boy, can it write. These are both two great pens. I'm a big fan of Waterman pens, and this Carène is exceptional. It has this beautifully inlaid gold nib, just gorgeous. It's a great writing pen. It's from around 2004, and from that same time period, I have a gorgeous yellow Waterman Charleston with an incredible fine nib in gold. This is one of my best writers. I've taken this all over Europe, and I've taken notes on trains, had a great time doing it. Now I also have two Waterman Filiuses from around those times, and these were like the TWSBIs of their day. These great inexpensive pens that felt like you were writing with something far more expensive. It has this gorgeous Art Deco look. These are great pens. I love Waterman. This is a cross apogee. Truth be told, we don't get along very well, but at one time it was one of my favorite pens. Lately, it's just been a bit of a mess, so I don't fill it very often. This is another pen from the early 2000s, a gorgeous Sheaffer Legacy with this inlaid gold nib. It's just fantastic. An amazing writer, an incredibly well-styled pen. I cannot say enough good things about this one. Okay, my friends, so this is the HoverPen 3.0. This was given to me to promote on TikTok, and I wasn't sure whether or not I would actually like it. It turns out that I keep it on my desk and I reach for it quite a bit. It has a very fine Schmidt nib. It's quite lovely. It writes very well. It's great for taking notes, and it's so handy. I quite like it. This is the Y Studio Classic Revolve. Just a gorgeous pen. It has brass underneath, and this red paint is designed to scrape off. Mine's actually in pretty good shape, but it's really well made, fun to write with, and shuts with this incredible click. Great pen. What would any collection be without a Lamy Safari? This one has what they call their calligraphy nib, which is a 1.1 stub. It's quite sharp on the sides. It really makes an interesting line, and your handwriting looks amazing with it. It's a great pen. And this is another Lamy Safari, but this one with their cursive italic, their new nib they just came out with. It's just gorgeous. I love writing with this one. It's fairly new to me, and I'm still learning it, and I quite like it. Let's talk about some flex pens. These are two Fountain Pen Revolution Himalayas. Two different versions, the version 1 and version 2. Both great pens, both write amazing. And the Blue Dew pen, in blue of course, ergo the name. This has probably the most amazing modern flex nib this reviewer has ever used, but there are more yet to explore, but very great flex pens. Here's another pen I don't get along with, the Pilot Falcon. It has a flex nib. I don't like it. It's rather scratchy. It's not the best pen. I love Pilot, but they really missed the mark with this one. Here's the Jinhao 450. It writes rather well, but boy, the finishing is horrible in this pen. It's like it has wallpaper stuck to it. I mean, this is basically a sticker, but the gold's rather nice, and so is the grip. It's really sort of a shame. I wish they had gone for a plainer finish, or I had chosen one. And it's not horrible, but certainly not my favorite inexpensive pen. Next up is one of my favorite brands. They sponsor me over on TikTok, but they don't know anything about my YouTube actually. But this is the Kaweco Special Collection Red. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous pen. Incredible nib. There you go, look at that. So this pen feels very luxurious. It's fantastic to write with. It's very elegant, very slim. And I believe it goes for around $120. I think you get a lot of value in this pen, and it's one that people don't speak about enough. It's fantastic. Next up is the Kaweco Supra. This is like a giant Lilliput. Just a fantastic pen. with a very large nib. As you can see, I have the wrong clip on it, but you know, what are you gonna do? You improvise sometimes, but this pen writes amazing. It can change different sizes, so you can take this middle section out and it will get smaller, which is handy, but I like it as a full-size pen. It will also post, but boy is it long once you post it. I have two Kaweco Brass Sport, one in medium and the other in their calligraphy nib, which is their 1.1 stub. Fantastic nib, fantastic writer. I really love these pens. I love how they change and evolve over time. I use them both quite a bit, but I use the calligraphy nib one much more, but very nice pens. Next up, a bunch of Kaweco Sports. I love these frosted ones in the pink. It's not called pink, but let's face it, it's pink and blue. And this olive and this cyan, which I quite like. So this is a double broad. It's a fantastic writer. This one's broad, and these two are mediums, but they are great pens, nearly indestructible. You can toss them in your bag. They're quite light, fit in your pocket easily, and they're just great pens. Here we have a Pilot Metropolitan. I don't like this pen. I don't like the squeeze converter. The fine nib on this one is not very pleasant to write with. It's just not my favorite entry-level pen. Here we have the Durograph, a classic pen with a button fill. So much fun. An amazingly small pen. It makes it handy, easy to throw into a bag. Has a beautiful nib, a great writer. Another one that's very classic is the Parker Vacuumatic. This has an almost hidden fill system with a nice push there, and then a great soft nib on this one. Just a beautifully crafted pen, just beautiful to look at and fun to write with. And let's not forget the Parker 51, just another classic. Great pen from right around the late 40s, early 1950s. And another classic, the Wahl Oxford, with a beautiful flex medium nib. I love this pen. Has a lever fill. It's gorgeous. Similar to that is this Conway Stewart in burgundy. Isn't this gorgeous? Another lever fill, another soft nib, beautiful gold. Just a great journaling pen. It's in fantastic condition. No issues here. And then, of course, two classic Esterbrook J's. I have two more somewhere, but these are the ones I have out because they're my prettiest. Quite nice. Great, great nibs go with these. I love these. Now we're getting into the fun stuff. This is a Parker 22 in the original package. It looks quite a bit like my 51. Just a great pen. I've never used it. I'm really tempted to ink it up and give it a try. Maybe I should. Next is the Hakko from East Germany. This is a really great sort of entry-level pen. Reminds me a bit of a Montblanc 22. Has a hooded nib. A really interesting pen. I quite like this one. I really need to ink that up again. Here's my craziest pen, the Benu Brown Orchid. You can see these flowers that are along the cap. They look a bit like amber, don't they? It's really magical. Quite like that. So this pen, once it posts, gets quite large. It has all this fire and shimmer, and it writes really well. It has a beautiful Schmidt nib. I like this pen. I use it quite a bit. Here's my oldest pen. It's about 100 years old. The Waterman 52.5 with a nib that's almost like a paintbrush. It's great to use. The only problem with this pen is it only holds about enough ink to write maybe 2 pages in a journal. Because remember, in the old days, you'd have this sitting on your desk so you could fill it up again. But now it's not so convenient. Here is my smallest pen, one you'll often find in my coin pocket. the Kaweco Lilliput. I love this pen. I use it quite a bit. I use it for filming B-roll on a lot of these videos. You'll see me out and about journaling using this pen. It's fantastic. The Diplomat Aero. The folks at Pen Chalet gave me this for TikTok, and we did a pen giveaway over there, which was a lot of fun. So this is a gorgeous, well-made, very modern Zeppelin-shaped pen, if you will. Made in Germany, fantastic writer, easy to post, just easy to write with. I quite like this. I'm sure you'll see a full review of this on the channel very soon. Before I show you my final pen, I'll show you my rollerball. This is a Waterman Expert. And this is what I use at business meetings if I don't want to draw any attention to myself with a fountain pen, if I need to fill out a form, or if I need to lend a pen to someone. It's lovely, but it's a rollerball. Not my favorite. Well, we've made it to the final pen, and if I can find a drum roll sound, I'll play it now. Otherwise, I've saved my most beautiful pen for last. Yes, it's the Platinum Kanazawa Haiku Matsutora fountain pen. So cute with that tiger. Love this guy. This is like holding gold in your hand because you're holding gold in your hand. It's got a gorgeous nib. It's a fantastic writer and a very decorative pen. It's a lot of fun to use. I'll be honest, I don't use it very much, but I'm really happy that I own it. It's gorgeous. The craftsmanship is amazing. I'll try to do a close-up on the tiger here. Look at that. See how it shimmers? It's just really beautiful and has a lot of personality. It's well made, well crafted. Just a great pen and a great way to end this incredible tour through my pen collection. So what do you think of my collection? Are there any pens that surprised you? Are there any that you thought I should have that I don't? Let me know in the comments. Which pens were your favorites? I'd like to hear that too. Thank you for letting me share my collection with you, and thanks for getting to the end of the video. If you would please just like, comment, and subscribe, and share this with someone else who you think might enjoy this content. I would appreciate that. I release new videos each Thursday at noon, so you know there's another one coming next week. So until then, take care, and I will see you further up the road.